Now imagine for a second that a spectator randomly selects 2 cards from the deck. Those cards are then inserted back into the deck face up. After being lost somewhere in the center of the deck, the cards are able to find their soulmates. What's going on, guys? CardMechanic here, and today I'm going to be teaching you the best friends card trick. Let's do it. Alright, so just to give you guys a little bit of a background, this card trick is known as Best Friends by David Lander, and it is a really cool beginner trick that can be learned in less than a minute. It takes longer to set up the trick than to actually learn it. Alright, so you want to get the deck in Best Friends order. So what that is it pretty much looks like this. You want the pair or soulmate cards right next to each other, so 2 red 9s, 2 red 8s. So 2 of the same value cards of the same color, you want to get them all next to each other and arrange it in some kind of order that you like. It doesn't have to be a specific order, but just arrange them throughout, something like this. Now once this is done, you should be all good to go for your trick. You can up the level of this trick by learning a couple of false shuffles, and you are actually allowed to cut this deck as many times as you want. Of course, just don't do multiple cuts, but as long as you're doing just halves, you should be good to go. You can allow the spectator to cut it as many times as they want, and that's the one good thing about having the deck set up in this order. Now once you've given the deck a false shuffle and you've given a couple of cuts, you allow the spectator to give it a couple of cuts, you're all good to go. So the way I like to start off is by dribbling the cards like this and having the spectator call out stop. So let's say they call out stop right here. We have them flip that card face up, look at it, and remember it. And now while the spectator is looking at this card, I'm going to look at this card right here, right? The card that I stopped dribbling at. Now this card is going to tell me one of 2 things. If it's the mate of this card, right? So if it's matching card, if this is a 6 of hearts, right? That means that I'm going to label this card as a before card. If this card is not the 6 of hearts, in this case, we'll label this an after card. So what that pretty much means is when you're doing the final reveal, you know the card after this card is the 6 of hearts. Whereas if I had this card flipped this way and I dribbled and I stopped here, then I'll know that the matching card is before. So that's why the label is before and after, right? So one more time, we'll dribble. Let's say we stop here. This is a selected card, and when I looked at this card, it's the 6 of spades, so we know these are matches. So now I know that this is a before card. Now in my performance that I did in the other video, I didn't perform it how I would actually perform it to a spectator. I would actually allow the spectator to take this card, right? I would put this pile that I stopped dribbling at, I put that under the deck like this, have the spectator look at their card, remember it, and then I'd start riffling. I'll tell them I want to put this somewhere randomly in the center of the deck. Then I'm going to start riffling like this. And now whenever they call it stop, right, let's say a spectator calls out stop here, I'm going to turn this top packet over like this and like this to make it seem as random, like they stopped somewhere randomly in the center of the deck. Right, so we're going like this, flipping this over like this, showing the spectator that they picked a random spot. When in actuality, this is the original spot where this was picked up from. So I like to put this down, allow them to take it here, put it face up. Now you're going to take the rest of this packet, right? This has the matching card. Put that face down, and now you're going to repeat the same process with the second selected card. So I'll speed that up a little bit. Let's say we stop here, allow the spectator to take that card, right? They take a look at it, remember it. They say stop here. We'll stop here, put that card there, face up of course, and now close this down like this. And this was an after card. So the first card was a before card, this was an after card, right? And boom, I'll do that right here. One thing you want to make sure of though, when you're doing this, right, you're riffling through, you're turning this over, you want to make sure to not show this card because it may be the matching card, so you don't want to show that. You want to go through like this, pull it over here, and that's where the spectator stopped. All right, side note, just remember that. Now, once that is done, you can have the spectator give the deck a couple of cuts if they'd like. Boom, boom, that should be good enough. And now we look at our first face-up card. It is the 7 of diamonds. We know the 7 diamonds is an after card, so we take the card after it. Put that down. The 6 of clubs we know is a before card, so we take the card before it. And boom, there you go. Now you want to show the matches. Boom. Matches with 2 red 7s and matches with the 2 black 6s. Now I would recommend using what I showed you as just a baseline. So you want to really build off the top of what I showed you and focus on how you can get your performance to the best it could possibly be. Now if you liked or didn't like this trick, there are many more tricks to check out right there. And if you don't want to check out any more tricks, then go out and add some magic into people's day. Peace out.